Hi, and welcome back to the Ultimate Frontline Leadership Training Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Quinn. Now, I know I promised you a video on resentment banks, but as I started writing that episode, I came to the realization that, people issues are just the largest issue you're going to be dealing with, and it's going to take a little bit of setting up to get you through this. So let me start off by taking one step back and talk about people issues in general. People issues are the most difficult part of a manager's job. Not everyone follows the same moral code or comes from the same ethical background. So whatever you do, it's really going to be about 80 to 90% effective for your crew. You will need to learn to live with reaching most of your employees. For you perfectionists out there, you're just going to have to deal with that. So let's get one thing clear, so we don't go chasing our own tails or running down rabbit holes. People are individuals who often respond to stimulus in similar ways, but not always. Now, some people love it when you're short-staffed because then they can make more money. Some people will feel overworked and resent it. The more you get to know your team, the better you'll be able to craft a dialogue that they can relate to and buy into. And you'll be able to approach each individual person on a one-to-one basis and get them to go along with your plan. Now, for more examples, like some people like to go home early and some don't. Some people are born leaders and some are born followers. Not everything you do will be viewed as great by all employees. So we're going to have to live with this fact. But it's actually this fact that makes us work harder so that we can reach more people and have greater success at the work we do. It's much better to do that than to just surrender to the few percent of people who are just not going to buy into anything and have their own ideas of what things to be done, and just let them ruin your attitude and just have you give up and just say, forget this whole thing, and just start barking orders at people. Surrender is not a great vehicle for leadership. A great leader knows they're only mostly successful at best. They try to reach everyone as much as they can, but at the end of the day, they're okay with a few people being difficult. The key here is to use the small percentage of people who refuse the kindness and logic you have to offer as evidence that you can do better. It's better than that than just giving up and letting the worst behaviors dictate how you're going to perform. Managers can get frustrated just like anybody else. We just can't afford to let it get us down. A real leader uses the negative feedback from a few to search for better ways to reach the unreachable. Because if you can't reach someone, no matter what you do, then maybe that person's a bad fit for your team. This conclusion should be a last resort because everyone works better when they feel secure at their job. Remember, always look inward when a problem arises and see if there's anything you can do to change the situation on your own. If you can't find fault with yourself, then work with the other person as much as you can to show them that you value them as a team member and you want to work with them. If all else fails and the employee is killing morale in the company, then maybe a change is needed and you need to remove the problem employee before everyone turns against you for not fixing the problem. Because after all, they're looking to you as a manager to fix a situation that they cannot. Now, people issues are extremely personal and they're difficult to explain. Usually when I talk to a manager about something, it's a very specific situation that's setting up and we know the specific details of the employees. So creating action plans for that is a pretty simple thing. But here we're going to have to generalize. So please remember, everything I'm doing is a generalization. And that if the generalizations don't fit your particular situation, you need to zero in on a personal one-to-one solution. And remember too, if you see something in these videos and it's not exactly what your problem is, but it's similar, go ahead and try and use the situation that I'm bringing up and the solutions to the problems and see if that might pertain to your particular situation. It could very well be a winning solution for you. At least give it a try. And remember, when you quit trying, you've surrendered. All right, now that we've talked about the generalizations of people problems and how specific they're going to have to be, you're going to really have to get to know your crew. Get to know each and every individual person, and you'll get to know what motivates them, what doesn't motivate them, what kind of issues they have at home, what kind of issues they have with their friends. You're going to kind of get to know these people and know what motivates them and what doesn't. So the next time you need something, you'll be able to look at that specific employee and go, oh, this is what this person needs to hear in order to get them on board with whatever's happening right now. And so then you'll be able to more effectively deal with each individual person. When you're dressing a crowd, when you're dressing a group, like morning meetings or something like that, be general and try to give the direction that you want everybody to go into. And then as the day unfolds, you're going to have to zero in on the people who aren't keeping up and address them specifically in ways that will motivate them individually. While we're on the topic of people issues, there's a couple I really want to get touch base with early on. And that's when you first get your manager's job and you go to a unit and you're just starting to work as a manager. You do not want to immediately start taking snapshots of what's going on around the unit and start fixing problems right and left. More than likely, that type of snapshot management is going to get you in trouble because you haven't the experience to be able to know what's going on, how this situation developed, and how to correct it, the problem the right way. You're going to jump in and start just throwing dirt all over the place, and your employees are going to think you're a crazy person. You just come in and just start messing everything up. So you need to know that a certain issue is a problem before you address it, and then you need to know how to address it correctly in order to fix it. Right away, your first days, you're not going to know any of that stuff. So what you need to do is take this time and get to know your crew. Get to know what kind of teams they like, what kind of music, what kind of cars, motorcycles, how many people are in their family. Are they all living together at home with the parents? What are the dynamics at home going on? Just in a friendly type of casual way, and get to know your people. So that when something does happen, you'll know that, oh, well, their grandparent's sick, and that's why they call in sick so many times, because they're taking care of the grandparent or what have you. You'll at least know what's going on, so you'll know how to address the issue. If you do not know what's going on and you see a problem, you could address it incorrectly, and you could be causing more damage than good. So your first couple of months should be all about getting to know where everything is, where all the tools are, how to sign on to your manager's sign in, where the manager's log is, doing your inventories and your never-ending to-do list and all that type of stuff, and just getting to know your crew. That is your number one job. Your number one job isn't to fix things right away from the get-go, because you will be the most unpopular person in the building if you start doing that. I know you want to get going quickly. You want to show everybody your stuff and you want to fix things. And I know that's what new managers are all about. They want to start proving themselves and start getting their experience. But I promise you, your first 2 months at your unit, if you focus on just getting to know your crew, who they are, how they operate, what things motivate them, what doesn't motivate them, that is the best way to spend the first couple of months in your unit. But at the same time, you don't want to get overly familiar with them. You don't want to go out and party with them, go drinking with them, and that type of stuff. You think that, well, that's getting to know them better, right? Well, no, it also, the people you aren't partying with, and the people you aren't going out to bars and stuff with, are going to think, they're going to feel like they're left out, like they're outsiders. And the people you are playing with are the insiders. And now you've got two groups of people that you're working with. Some are in the know and some are out. And it's going to create conflict right there. So get to know them professionally, in a personal manner. You got to be able to draw some lines. You don't want to just go out partying with them. You definitely don't want to start having relationships with your employees. I got to tell you, that is like the worst thing you can do, is start going out with, one of your servers or one of your maids or what have you. Because then now what's happening? You got people who aren't going out with you, and they're resentful of the fact that the person who is going out with you is getting the best shifts, getting the best stations, getting, getting the privileges that they're not getting. Even if you're not doing that, or even doing it on purpose, any little thing you do for that person you're going out with is going to seem like that's a benefit that the other people aren't getting, and they're going to gossip and harp on about it. It's going to hurt your morale big time. You do not want to go out with people that you're working with. And I know at work you do meet a lot of really great people. You may want to marry one of them. That's great. Do it after you guys no longer work together at the same place. And that's going to happen. You're not going to forever be working in the same restaurant or the same theme park or whatever. You're not going to be working together forever. Something is going to happen. Somebody's going to move or get a better job offer or whatever. Or you're going to decide, hey, we do want to see each other. We should split up and go into different units or different things so that we can see each other. And that way the employees around you aren't going to feel left out and feel like that person's being favorited because they're no longer in the picture. So you need to do things in a smart way. Do not have relationships with your employees, but do get to know them. Get to find out who these people are, what motivates them, and that will help you get along better at work. All right. And so that should about do it for now. The next time we will be talking about resentments and how they're created, what to do about them, how to fix them, and how to get your whole team, as many as possible, on the same page. And until then, bye.